one where Chris and Sandy with the Chris Benton Show are get up close and personal. Some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said in every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
Today, we're excited to chat with Andrew P. Logan. He's an actor and he stars in Netflix's highly anticipated series, American Primeval. He's been making waves with his powerful performances, and we can't wait to hear about his journey and what's next.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks you guys for having me. Like, that's like the coolest part about like this whole new like with the show coming out and like my acting career kind of starting to like take a little bump is that people are actually like genuinely like excited to hear me talk about acting because I actually love talking about it. And like I was just annoy all my friends and family originally with it, and like they would hear me just talking about acting nonstop. But now it's like people actually hear it. So
now
it's
you
really cool.
And our buddy Joe said, "Hey, Chris, Sandy, and Andrew."
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe. All right, so tell us about your role in American Primeval. What drew you to the project, and what was it like bringing your character to life?
Oh yeah, so this is like there's a lot to unpack with this one because this is like my first like big type of role in something like a hefty role that's in a big production that kind of the whole world's seeing. And the show's been out now, so it's like it's kind of been like blowing up, and that's very cool in itself that I'm like a part of a project like that. But what drew me to it originally, with auditioning, they do keep a lot of secrets, especially like when I was 3 years ago auditioning for it. They didn't like tell me that it's this massive Netflix thing with Pete Berg, Taylor Kitsch. It was just like American Primeval limited series for a streaming service is all it said for me. No, it did say that Pete Berg was attached to it, and that was the main thing that did drive me to it. And it was a very I can like see the comments right now. Yeah. That's my girlfriend. Just so you guys know. Yeah. That's my girlfriend. Yeah. And that made me laugh. But so it's I've never had like comments pop in before. It's cool to like talk to, like other people. But what drew it to me was like the director that was so like attached to it as well. And like when I started reading the scripts, it was about like the scenes that I was auditioning for. There was like some loss in it and some like more dark things were happening in the scenes I was auditioning. And a big thing about this, which a lot of people don't know about, and I've kind of been like telling more and more people about it because I'm coming to terms with talking about it finally, is that like 2 weeks before I even auditioned for this, my father passed away.
Oh wow!
Oh, I'm sorry.
And yeah, he was like such a driving force of my career. Like he was, he was always telling me like he's the person that I would like vent to or talk about like all my woes in the industry. Like I'm not getting any auditions. My agents are sending me out for the right things I want.
Almost like he pulled some strings.
Yeah. But then like he would always like respond back in a very good way, like especially for me because it's the way like I take criticism. He was very just like stern with me, and he's like, he would tell me like, shut up and just go get better. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're acting. That like like you might not be getting the like you don't have the agents you want, you're not getting the auditions you want, you're not getting that many auditions. Like you can blame all these other outside like options or problems that you have, but it does kind of come back to like my acting is like the source of all that. Like if I am that good, he would tell me, if you're that good, people are going to start paying attention to you, like no matter what. Like if you actually get that good, like it comes to a level where you just are undeniable. And so he would just keep pushing me and keep telling me that. And then out of nowhere, I did lose that.
Oh, wow.
Like I lost that. Yeah. And then it was a crazy timing because it was, like I said, 2 weeks after, like I made a promise to my dad that like I would do this. Like, I'm going to do it. And like we had like a lot of talks, like the last few weeks he was alive. And it was a lot of, I'm going to be an actor, Dad. I'm going to win an Oscar. I'm going to do it. Like I'm actually going to do this. And then he passes away, and then 2 weeks later, I get the audition, and I had some people in my life that were like pushing me to do the audition as well. Oh, and wow. They reminded me of the promises that I made. Like my family and friends were like, "You promised your dad you would do this, and this seems like a decent audition. You should try to submit it." And so I submitted the audition with like 5 minutes left.
Oh, wow!
It was due in 5 minutes, and I got down there. I didn't want to do it that day. I was cussing, swearing. I was just not having a good day. Like it was just a very bad day. And but I go down there and I do the audition, and it's one line. That's it. I say my line, I send it in, I don't hear anything back for like a month and a half. And then after that month and a half, though, it was like, like painting my mom's house or my parents' house because my mom can't live in that house anymore. It's way too big. And like my agent sends me a text and she's like, "Hey, Peter Berg wants to have a one-on-one Zoom call with you right now." Tonight. And I was like, "Peter Berg wants to have for like what role?" Because like Lucas, the character I booked, wasn't the only one that I auditioned for in this project. And then she was like, Lucas. And I was like, the one line role that I auditioned for, like this massive director wants to have us like a half hour Zoom call over this.
Oh wow.
And very quickly it hit me though. And I was like, it's not a one line audition anymore. Like something became like way bigger. And I get on the call that night and it's exactly what he tells me. He was like, something about your tapes, like your eyes had something so real.
Oh wow.
And like I wanted to tell him in the moment, like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that guy had a father that passed away, but I didn't tell him that. And I just kind of like went with it. And then we have the Zoom call. He basically tells me he wants me the most, but there's like other people, other producers, people that are in the higher ups that are like still trying to like argue with him and like not cast me because the role did become like bigger. I don't want to say because of my tapes, but like he did say like that my eyes like started to make him think about the character in a different light.
Oh wow.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so that started to happen, and he told me not to shave and cut my hair, and he was like very sure about that. So that gave me like a good feeling almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at some point I moved back to Texas because I was like in Michigan at this point, like taking care of my mom and brother. And I say taking care of them, but I was taking care of myself. So
yes, understandable.
Yeah. Like, and then apart from that, like I go back to Texas, and the day I get back to Texas and I was going back to like my bar backing job, I was like putting my shirt on to go back to work. And I like look at my phone and my manager was calling me. She like answered the phone and she's like, had like some choice words which I won't say right now, but it was like, have you checked your email? And I was like, no, why? And she's like, just go check your email, call me back like right away. And I opened my email and there it was, I booked the role and I need to go to New Mexico for the next 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And like now you guys know kind of the backstory, like the Lucas character. I don't know if you guys have watched the show yet.
We haven't yet. Very interested to watch it.
Yeah, I won't spoil what happens to my character, but they're like he does deal with a little bit of loss at some point. And it was like very like hand in hand that like it was very weird timing almost. That, like my dad passed, and then I'm going to play like this dark character in this dark world. And I just have to like be stuck in that mindset.
Dark at that time.
Yeah. And so that drew me to it too. It was like, oh, I can play this like nothing right now. Like I even knew that. Like I was like, yeah, this role is like I had the anxiety and stuff from like being on a big production, and I had imposter syndrome, but the role itself and like the character and like how I knew like what I had to play, I was like, I have the best stuff in the world to pull from right now. Like it's so fresh and so real. Like I can just like show up and I'm like still in that same like mindset and mode.
What did you learn about yourself through your character?
A whole lot. It was a lot of like confusing time too, because it was like the one person I wanted to tell. Like that I booked this role with, like the one person, like how every son wants their father's like pride, that look in their eye one time. Like it was just a lot of like realization that like knowing that he's still watching me, and like having that like, I don't need like that one look to have this fulfillment.
Right.
Like I know that I'm doing this for him now, and like it's like pushing me in like a crazy different way that was like so much more nowadays than like it ever was in the past.
Yeah.
And that was like a massive thing, is like realizing like I don't need anybody else to push me in this career. Like that was like a main one too. Like I'm kind of having a realization right now. So thank you for even like, like you can see, I can feel you can see it on me. I'm like, whoa. But I was like, I didn't need anybody like to push me. Like I can do it myself. And it was like, I can carry myself in this light, and I can, like I said, that imposter syndrome, like I had that going on like crazy. Like I was around like Jack Courtney, Taylor Kitsch, Dane DeHaan, Peter Berg, who I like am a massive fan of Friday Night Lights and like Lone Survivor. And now I'm just like working with them casually. Like it's like just I have to just like, it's a thing now. And I had that in my brain saying like, why am I here? Like what is going on? And like there was like so much of like just like that internal battle throughout the whole shoot where it was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't have like my father pushing me anymore. I don't have like that drive behind me. And then at some point throughout the shoot, it all switched. And like I think like cast for that, I think the crew for like being so good. I think Pete, like the director, for like really like honing in and kind of showing me the ropes of like being like an actor who's like has 4 cameras in his face now. I'm like a multi-million-dollar budget, and there's like 500 people on set, and they're all like watching you. And you're like in a really uncomfortable like position, and like all these cameras are on you, and they just say action, and now you have to go.
How's that? When you first realized how big this was going to be, and you're in front of the cameras and all that, how's that made you feel? Let's dig deep into your feelings during that point.
How'd that make me feel? Is it man, I was like there's like a thing I want to say, but it does involve a swear word because I was scared. I was scared to answer your question. I was very scared.
Yeah.
And it was like just the little kid in me that was like, all right, this is it. This is like the moment you've had your whole life. Like you put like 6-7 years into this now. This is it. And it's one moment, go, action. And my feelings were, like I said, it was just confusing during the time. Like it was like, I can't even like give like an accurate response, like an actual like one emotion that I felt. Because it was like just like a ball of like just a big melting pot of every emotion that I had. Because I was so happy that I was there. But then like I remember that like I'm so happy and excited and proud that I'm here. But I want to tell that one person still. And like that would hit.
Yeah.
And then like I start realizing like, oh man, I have all these actors that I've watched for my whole life are now like staring at me. Yeah. And I saw a question pop up right now. Can Andrew really play the trombone? Staring at. I think we did a couple verses staring on the trombone. No. I can play the trombone, yes, very, very loosely, but yes, I had that like on my actor's access and a bunch of stuff. I took trombone in middle school and high school up until like a sophomore. So yeah, yes, I can. But to get back to like the feelings and stuff, very it's very just confusing is like the one thing that comes to my mind. It's like the one thing I could get away from right now when I'm trying to like describe it. It's because there's just so many different ones.
And I understand completely where you're coming from because when we launched this show, we launched it. Well, my mom passed away back in 2003, and we actually launched the show January 3rd of 2020, which January 3rd was her birthday. So it was kind of like a dedication to her. So the more we do the show, I can't go, like I said, I can't talk to her. And then in the middle of the show in 2022, we had both of our parents that were the last living parents pass away in a 3-month span.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I definitely understand where it's like the more we do with all this, it's like, I want to be able to talk to my dad about things, my mom about things, and I can't, because they're not here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, that's a huge part of just growing up too. It is. And like, it might have happened to me like a little early, but like, there's the side of me too that's like, I know that like, with all that happening, like with my dad passing, I kind of had to step up and become like the man of the house to an extent.
Yeah.
And I had to start like taking care of like funeral stuff and like start redoing the house and like making sure that like my mom and brother are okay for me to actually leave because I promised my parents. But I've already said that it was more of a me thing that I was there for that long.
Right.
Because I wasn't okay. Yeah. And I don't know, just all that. Like having like
so you've healed. So in a way, you've healed through
it helped me heal a lot. It did. Like, and it was like I became this like man of the house, and like now I like booked this role where it was like throughout the role, through when I was out there, the role kept getting a little bit bigger almost, and it was getting like I was getting more camera time, more screen time. They were writing me in a little bit more, and it was like becoming like I had to become like kind of like a leading man and like a man on set, and it was kind of like hand in hand, like everything. Where like I just had to grow up. Like, I don't know if it was life, if it was God or fate or the universe slapping me in the face and saying like, you need to like get it together right now. Like things are going to come your way and you need to like pull it together and like start acting. Like, you need to be ready. You need to, just be on top of it.
Because like they always say, success is when opportunity and preparedness meet. You can have the opportunity, but if you're not ready or prepared, then you're going to lose the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, they say that about luck too. And like, people are always like, oh, you're so lucky. And I'd always like get a little bit annoyed when people would say that to me. Because like, they don't know how hard I'm actually working right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I might be a little bit lucky. Yeah, there's a little bit of luck in the industry. But that is like when preparation meets opportunity. And the opportunity like presented itself. And I was prepped in the most like messed up way possible when I was prepped for it. And I was ready for that in a weird way. And like I grew up like in like my own personal life, and then I had to grow up like in my career on set, and they kind of like went hand in hand, and they're still going hand in hand to the day. Like I'm still like way more stressed than I've like been in my life, because like now I have all these interviews that are happening, and like my schedule is booking up, and like I still like don't have crazy amounts of money. Like I'm like trying to plan all the like things, but I still have to like work my serving job and make money so I can afford it. And it's like I'm trying to like balance everything now. And it's like a whole new set of problems in my life. And it's
good set.
Yeah. It's but it is like cool to like actually like sit back like right now and think about it. Like, these problems are Like they may seem like they suck like in the moment, but I'm like kind of happy I have these problems now. Like I'm sitting here now, I'm like, yeah, these problems are cool to have. Like
Yeah, like Joe said,
yeah.
he said we make it look easy at the show, but this cold calling business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I probably reach out to 200-300 celebrity style people every month.
Yeah.
Emailing. And out of that, I might book 5 to 7 people. And the great thing is sometimes when I book somebody, then their PR people they might not send me that one, but then they'll send me others. So that's
Yeah. No, it's and that's like a massive thing within the industry I learned too. Is like I read Matthew McConaughey's like book Green Lights. And he like says like so many times it's not personal, it's just business. And as long as you keep that mentality and you remember that, like you can like it'll push you a lot further. Because like I've had so many things happen to me where it's like it feels personal. Like it feels like I do get upset and I'm like, just like for the whole day, kind of like I'm like salty or I have a tear in my eye. But then I realize like there's probably like 10 other actors that look just like me that are white with brown hair and blue eyes that are feeling the same type of feeling I'm feeling right in this moment. So maybe I should like stop making this a personal thing and just realize this is what the industry is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's now go back. When did you realize that this could be a career, or even when did it click for you that you wanted to do this?
Oh, this is like a really fun one because it clicked. And like I grew up in a small town and like the way of thinking in a small town is a little bit different from where I'm at now, which is like Austin, Texas. And it's like a lot of creatives are around me. And like people like push dreams and creativeness and art. Where I come from, like it's kind of like a wild thing for someone just to like move to a big city and try to become an actor. People do it, but like for it to happen and like someone to have like some type of success is like a very big rarity in like small town Michigan or like Heartland, Michigan, where I'm from. And so like originally I was like 12, 13 and I was at my godmother's house and my mom and my godmother like went out and I was like sitting with my, like, I call him my cousin Chris, but he's just a really close family friend. But I was sitting with my cousin Chris and he like puts a movie on and the movie happened to be Forrest Gump. And I watched it. I didn't have a phone at this point. So I don't want to say I didn't like looked at my phone, but I watched it. Like I didn't move from my seat and I stared at that screen and I watched that movie
filmed
3
where
times.
it's filmed where we are.
Yeah, we're in
Savannah,
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was watching, I watched that movie 3 times in a row that night. I was like a 13-year-old kid. And I remember just sitting there thinking at the end of each time, like, damn, like I want to do that. Like this guy is making me feel like that. Like, whoa. And like, I like remember like having that thought, like, oh, I really love movies. And from that point on, I was just watching movies like crazy. Like I wasn't like a popular kid in high school because like instead of going out to parties, I would sit inside and like watch like Friday Night Lights or throw on like a movie trilogy and just sit there and like fall in love like with this on the screen. Like my whole like world would just like kind of fade away and it would just be me and like the TV screen or like a movie screen. And then I took like a drama class in high school. I wasn't in the drama department and like I wasn't like in the theater department. Like I was like a jock in high school. I played football, ran track. But like I took this drama class as like an elective. And I remember like I hated school. I hated like we had like 7 hours. I hated the rest of my 6 hours. But that class was the one reason I woke up every day to go there and like play for like an hour and like be on that stage and like have people like laughing at what I was doing and like feeling like this sense of like it was like I just said like the whole world would fade away when I would watch movies. When I became an act, like when I would start to act, it would be that time a million. And I would become like a different person almost. And like it was like an escape almost, but like it was a way almost for me to flesh out all these like emotions I would feel. I would just like become crazy. Like if I was crazy mad that day, I would like wait to acting class and then get into acting class and just become crazy mad and just like let it out. And it became like a sense of therapy.
It was
that
became your release.
Yeah. And like I started to tell people too, like some of my friends and like some family members that like I maybe want to be an actor or I want to go into film.
Yeah.
And they
what were their thoughts?
It wasn't like a good thing. It wasn't a good thought. Yeah, it was like no, like you should do something that's gonna make you money. You should go into medicine. And I went to the University of Michigan for like three and a half years, and I almost became a nurse. And then at some point, I had like a big realization that like I actually want to do something that I really, really want to do. That makes me like genuinely so happy. And like I went home that day and just like told my parents. And yeah, I told my parents, and very quickly they were like, I was like a very real talk too, and like my mom and dad like instantly were like, no, you should go for what you want. My dad had such a hard time too. Like he had a shaky voice, and he's like, no, if you have to move to like another state, you do it. Like I don't want you to have. It's making me get emotional, but yeah.
So as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see that grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get to any level within entertainment. And I think that this is a subject that most people don't really talk about. But on our show, we talk about it. So take a few moments and just tell us about the grind part. I mean, you can go as in much detail as you want, because I want people to realize that you don't just act. There's way more to this than that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. Yeah. Well, for the longest time, I was in like a ton of classes when I was just like trying to take like every class I can. Like I was taking like it's a lot of like techniques, like method Meisner, and I was taking like a few of them, and I was like, I like to say it's like my big melting pot, and I was like trying for so long just to like really like get myself over the fear of acting too, of like getting in front of people, and that was a bit of like that grind, and like I got to a point where I became comfortable. And then I was like, I just need to become way better. And like I started to like listen to like YouTube videos of actors talking, and they're saying they're doing it every day for hours. And I started to develop the mindset. If I want to actually get to their level, I have to act like I have to do what they do. Like I have to start going every day. I have to wake up, and there's a coffee shop right down the street called Radio, and they know me there. Like my actual name's Logan, or my first name's Logan, but like they know me as Andrew down there. And like it's like they know my coffee, like what type of coffee I want. They know it comes with an extra shot, and they know it's always for here, and like light on the ice. And they know that strictly because I was there for so much. Like I was there 7 days a week. I would wake up before I went to my serving job, and I would be there for 3 to 4 hours, like reading acting books. I was reading scripts, and then I would read the scripts like of the movies that I would watch, and I would come home and watch those whenever I wouldn't have to work. And it just became like an all-day thing every day of me just like grinding. I call it like my mad, and I still do it to this day. Like I'll go like a month. It's like happens like in spurts now, right? It's called like a mad actor, like a mad scientist, where I'm up all night and I'm like just like scratching my head, just like trying to figure out more stuff about me, like internally, and like I'm trying to figure out like more scripts and like trying to understand just like people to an extent. And there's like that's a never-ending job. Like it's just like it's just never ending. And I do find like at this point I just found so much like fun in it, like trying to the understanding side of it. But like that grind was like for like years it was like 3 to 4 hours a day. I was like emailing anybody I possibly can email. I was like cold emailing, even though like I'm even say don't cold email. It's not a good thing to do, but I was doing it. And like I probably like burned some bridges just because I was like that young ignorant kid, just like so hungry and like so ready to take on the world that I was just like sending it to everyone, like look at me, like. And yeah, that's like what it was. It's like everything. I would go to bed thinking about it. I would wake up instantly and think about it. And it's still very similar to this day. Like I like woke up like with my girlfriend today, and I was like, I have interviews. I have to like plan trips back to Michigan. I have like all the stuff I have to do. Like there's an audition now I gotta do. Like I gotta go. And that's like, I want to. Like, I'm so excited that I'm back to that now, because there was like such a waiting game, like with the show coming out, like and like readjusting like all my profiles and stuff now. And like I'm so happy that I'm back to that grind again. Like it's happening again. Like just wake up and it's just acting.
Yes.
Like I love it with my whole being, and I'm like
you're in that zone.
And if you don't, like, I don't know, like you have to generally just want to get up every single day, and you have to like want to put your best foot forward, just because like it's like a pipe dream. It was a pipe dream for so long, like so far it was like the longest tunnel. But like I believe that like if I would wake up and take one step in that, even if it was one small step every single day in that tunnel, at the end of the day, or at the end of months, years, if I'm taking one little step, I'm still gonna get to that light. Like it's still like I'm still gonna make my way there slowly. Like my manager like always would tell me, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Just keep going. And like I had another friend who's like kind of like popping off with music right now, which is really cool. And he would always tell me too, he's like, you just gotta believe. If you believe and you put your best foot forward, it'll happen. You have to be the last one standing. There's so many factors. Like, because people will like drop off. Like they'll like not have enough money to do something. They'll like lose, like have some doubts and start to lose hope.
Yeah, last man
standing.
standing.
Like, kind of drop off. Yeah, you gotta be the last person there. You're gonna be beat up. You're gonna like beat heck at this point. Like I've just been through it, and but I'm still there. And I'm still like, still somehow like still managing to get to my like feet after like life is just like punching me over and over again. but I still managed to stand up and like take another step. And that's like the biggest thing. If like anyone will take anything from this, is just take any type of step forward every single day.
Love that. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team behind you. In our opinion, teams never get any love. On our show, they get some love.
Yeah.
So take a few moments and just tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Oh yeah. Like I'm like a weird one when it comes to my team. Because like a lot of actors that I do know like aren't like personally close with agents and managers. Like they're not like they don't know like about like their issues and like their woes in life. But like with me, my team knows about my woes in life. I know about their woes in life. And like we've just known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like my manager, her name's Ivy Lundeen, great. Like she's like another mom to me at this point. Like she's like pushed me forward in so many ways, and she's been there for me. Like when everything with my dad, she was always right there and very supportive of me. And like they were always kind of there and pushing me like in days where I didn't think I would have it in me to get up and take that step forward. They were like, they would also remind me, you know, that promise you made to your dad. And I would take that step forward because they reminded me. And like and I know they generally care about me.
Yeah.
And like my other agents too, like Landrum Arts and like Louisiana, they've like helped me so much of the way too. And I'm agents in AFH and they're so nice to me and they're so responsive. And like that's the biggest thing too, is like I'm talking to them every single day. And I'm trying to like ask them like how can I make, like I keep saying, going back to that step forward. Like I'll go to them and I'll be like, what's a step I can take today? Like what is something I can do? And they will always tell me a step. There's you can do this. Go do this. Go do that. And I'll go do it. Like I have like full faith in my team and they have full faith in me. Like they know, like they saw like that grind thing that we just talked about. They witnessed it. They knew like that mad actor phase I was in. Like they wouldn't hear from me for like a week straight because I was just like going through it on my own. But then I would like text them and be like, all right, sorry that I'm gone, but like I'm ready. Let's get some auditions right now. Yeah, let's like do this. But yeah, my team is absolutely awesome. Like they're just like killers too.
Love that. And, you know, speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, our 13-year-old, that we bring on to ask a couple questions. So while Sandy gets him, what's a lesson that you've learned through this process?
A lesson that I've learned is that not like a lot of this too. I've realized that like everything's not going to happen the way I want it to happen. Okay. And it's just to roll with the punches. Yeah. Just to roll. Like one of my favorite songs is by Area Speedwagon. It's called Roll with the Changes. And I'll listen to that if I'm in a bad mood. Yeah. And like there's things happening in my life where it's like, I don't like what's happening, but like I can't change it. Like the world's going to spin without me regardless. Like with what I think, like it's not going to slow down for me. So I got to like keep going no matter what. And that's like the biggest lesson I've learned throughout this is just you got to keep going. Like you can't like lose that momentum. You can't lose that steam. Like I've worked so hard for 6 years. If I would just roll over and quit now, woo,
you would regret it. Okay You'd always wonder, what if?
Yeah, what if? Yeah.
And like, that's my hardest thing too, is the regret. Is like we've done so much with this show and we put on hiatus for a year or two. But I always had that what if, and so I knew I'd come back eventually. And because I want to know when I get to the end of this show that I gave it my all. If we never become big on the show and all that, then at least I know I did everything it took. You know, I don't want that regret of, well, what if I could have done that? Or what if I could have, I don't want that regret.
Mm-hmm. Howdy.
Oh, hey, Andrew. What's your huh?
What is your name first and foremost?
Christopher.
Oh, hey. Hi, Chris.
Hey.
It's like Chrisception right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Questions.
All right. So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, 2. Spaghetti and meatballs and a good cheeseburger. Ooh. And ice cream. Like I eat ice cream like close to every single night. Love some ice cream. Yeah. But yeah, probably like a good cheeseburger. So if you know anywhere like in Georgia that has a great cheeseburger, let me know. Yeah.
And it's cool having him come on the show with us because, you know, being that, you know, he's part of the family and all that, you know, our son. And we got a 5-year-old, it's about to be 6-year-old little daughter that when she gets a little older, we'll plug her in some way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really all right. Cool. My favorite food's pizza.
Your favorite food's pizza?
Yeah.
Like what kind of pizza though? Do you like pepperoni?
Pepperoni, pepperoni, sausage supreme, pineapple. Just all
Ooh,
kinds.
yeah. I'm happy that you like pineapple. Yeah. That's like a 50-50 thing. But I like pineapple pizza too. Yeah. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, I got another question. So, what's one of the coolest
Yeah.
experiences you've had on your journey so far?
The coolest experiences?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's been like so many. Just like meeting like people like that I've like looked up to in my life. Like one of the biggest ones was like very early on when I first moved to Austin, and it was just being on Fear the Walking Dead. Like I like became like a walker. I was just like I was an extra, and like very quickly, since I'm like just like a very skinny person, they like made me into like the one that wears like prosthetics a lot and like all those hero walkers. And that was like so cool to like watch. Like I was a big Walking Dead fan, just like start working on The Walking Dead. Like I remember just like being on a kid the first time ever walking on that set, and like seeing these characters that I know from like the Walking Dead universe and being like, oh my god, this is so cool right now. And like I'm like looking, like I go and like look in my mirror, like I'd go to the bathroom in the trailer and like look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm a zombie right now. How sick is that? And that was like one of the early on ones. But like a really big one, like recently was like I mentioned like Pete Berg and like how I've like loved Lone Survivor and Friday Night Lights. And like Friday Night Lights to me is like one of my favorite like football movies ever. Like I show it to everyone I possibly can. Like I showed it to my girlfriend not too long ago. Yeah. And I remember like waking up one day on set. We were shooting like one of the final scenes of the show. And I like, work in the mountains where they shot Lone Survivor, but I wake up like in my hotel room and I check my phone on Facebook memories. And like 12 years to the day, I made a post on Facebook, like just went to go see Lone Survivor with my dad. And it was it was like it's so insane. I absolutely loved it. And I was waking up to go work on a set with Peter Berg, who like directed it, produced it, and Taylor Kitsch, who also acted in it. And like I'm like in the mountains where they shot it too. And I went and like showed it to them. And they thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And they're like, man, that is like crazy. And I was like, yeah, man, that's just life, I guess. Like that's just how life is sometimes. But that was like such a cool moment right there, like a full circle one. Like, wow, I actually have like one of these things where it's like I love this movie and I love this actor and this director. And I'm in the like the exact same location where they shot the movie, acting with these guys in something. Like something big. And that was like such a cool moment too. Just to have that full circle. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Heck yeah. Thanks for the questions, Chris. They're good questions.
All right, bye.
So if you could create any movie, what role would you want to play and with who?
What role would I want to be?
Yeah.
Oh man, there was one. I told you my favorite movie, or the movie that got me started. It's also my favorite movie. It's also my favorite actor. So that's like I saw recently, I don't know if it's true. I have to do more research into this, that they were making a Forrest Gump 2. With Timothy Chalamet playing Forrest Gump's son. And I was like, got so bummed out because that was like one of my dream roles that I've always thought about since being a 13-year-old is like, I could be like the smart Forrest Gump son and act with Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump. And that would be like the ultimate full circle moment. And that was like the one dream one. But I grew up like this does like so much of this stuff circles back to like my mom, dad, and brother. And like my career does because I grew up with them watching so many movies. And I grew up watching so many Marvel and Star Wars movies with my dad, mom, and brother. And so like being a Marvel hero is like, of course, like the kid in me would freak out if that ever happened. Also, like being in Star Wars, like if I could ever have the shot of like me like hitting the lightsaber and the lightsaber comes up in the shot, you know what I'm talking about, like in Star Wars when they do that. I've always like I still like will like be like in the mirror like 3 a.m. sometimes and like be like a kid with like my lightsaber and like be like so that's definitely that's like one of my dream roles. But like yeah, so like Tom Hanks and whatever I just said.
So what's something that you learned because you grew up in a small town that still applies today to your career?
Oh, my work ethic. I think that's like that's the biggest one, like without a doubt. Like just like a different way of thinking. Like Michigan has the Detroit Lions, and like one of their biggest like logos and words is grit. And that's like became like a Michigan thing now. It's just grit. And like growing up in like small town Michigan is kind of like, yeah, he said a Midwestern work ethic, baby. Yeah, it's very I think that taught me like just to like put, like I said, put every foot forward. Like that kind of like taught me that. And like my parents like kind of like taught me how to like grow up and like buy my own car. They made me buy my own cell phone growing up as like a 14-year-old, get my own car. And like they like taught me how to work for my own stuff. And that is probably the biggest thing that I brought with me in my acting career, is that work ethic.
And
And
what
like with that too, there is like a level of heart as well that comes in a small town. You have like the work ethic, but then it's also like the small collective heart that everyone has, and we all like know each other and care for each other. And like
exactly?
that's like my heart's like a massive thing in my acting career. Like I'm like a very emotional man, so like with like my heart's like that too because of like where I grew up from and like being around those people, like influencing that. Like there's so many things a part of me that came from being in the Midwest. And like I do think like I have like a little bit of an edge just because of that. Like when I come to like a big city and like saying like, yeah, all right, I do have a different way of thinking. Has Andrew ever beat Super Mario Bros. 3? No, I have not. I have not, but I do main with Kirby and Super Smash Bros. If you know what that means. Anyway, I'm a gamer, so but no, I haven't beat Super Mario Brothers 3. No, but like now I want to. Like that guy just called me out on it, like live on the radio station. And I feel like the petty guy in me is like, yeah, I have to. So, but yeah, to answer your question, that's like the biggest thing is kind of the work ethic that I got instilled just like growing up out there.
So what's a failure that happened in your life and what you learned from it?
I have many failures, so many. Like just within acting, there's been so many. Like just like done it with like big auditions that I really thought I was gonna get. I got callbacks and dealing with that rejection. But I'm trying to think of something that's not even acting related. Like what's like a massive failure that I had? I mean, there was like a bunch. They're like love Super Smash Bros. Not beating Super Smash Bros. 3.
Well, while you're
Yeah,
thinking on that, I
good
guess I'll
question.
tell you my biggest failure was I went through 19 years of addictions. From 17 to basically, I think 37, 38, somewhere in there. But for 19 years, I went through a bunch of addictions. But I've been sober now for 17 years. So from
Congrats,
failure to redemption.
Yeah, no, oh man, like not my biggest failure. I'm not gonna like it was like a collective thing. It was like during the time like I found out my dad passed and I was like working at a bar and yeah, I started to partake in some stuff like that. I do like kind of say like that version of me was probably the worst version I've ever had.
Wow.
Because I was like trying to deal like I was in Austin by myself, like no family, no friends around me. Like from like Michigan. Like I do have friends down here. I have like brother friends at this point down here. But like during that time of my life, like I didn't really like have anyone to that level I could talk like or I just didn't feel like I could talk with people about certain things. And so like I did start to like, take some drugs, drink a lot. And like that version of me like was kind of a failure because I started to like care about how I was treating other people. I was starting to like not even care about like acting to that extent. I was just
You became someone else.
I was caring about like how to make my like bad feelings go away. And they're like, yeah, like you do have an outlet through that stuff and it might work for a little bit, but at some point those feelings will take back over and now you're like on drugs and you're really drunk and you're having these feelings. And it's like just times a million at that point.
Yep.
And you'll do things that like you just don't like and it's not you. And I've had that before. And like those moments are like the biggest failures that I've ever had. Just like waking up and having that feeling inside of me, like, what am I doing right now?
Yep.
And like that's where like my dad passing is kind of a blessing too. Cause I go back to Michigan at one point while I'm in the middle of like bendering like crazy. And I have my dad now like sick and my family's like just so distraught. Landslide. Oh no, don't stop. Actually, anyway, don't stop's a cool one. It's a very motivational song for you. But sorry that I've just never had someone like a little comment section where I have people. Yeah, yeah. And, but I think it's cool. But yeah.
But yeah, so where do you want to be in 5 years?
Oh, like my number one dream, one of the biggest things I told my dad is I'm gonna win an Oscar. So hopefully in 5 years, I'm now like acting in roles that are getting looks maybe for something like that. And I've always wanted to be like really respected from my peers in the industry. Like I actually want to be respected by the people that I respect so much.
I love
like I always thought like
like Joe said, don't mind him, he doesn't shut
up. Square table degenerates, yeah. Joe, okay. But yeah. That's like my biggest thing in 5 years is like I just want to have a career, and I'm a family guy too.
Yeah.
I kind of want to have like a family,
Love
and I want to
that.
have like people I can enjoy all this stuff with. That's like something like hopefully I'm in a spot where I can like have enough money. Like maybe if my mom, I could have a guest house in the backyard where my mom can come stay, and I can always be like around them. That's the hardest part about this is just being in Texas away from everybody. And like I have like all this like bad things that happen in my life. And I do want to like vent to them, but sometimes like I try to call them and they're busy. And like in a day where if I'd be living in Michigan, I could just go back home and like sit there with my mom at the end of the night and tell her all my problems. But sometimes it's not like that. I just gotta like figure it out on my own. And that's like it's just growing up. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, hopefully having everyone around me. I'm like having the people I love and care about the most, like all around me. Like I've like done so well in my career. It's like I can just bring them with me. That's like a very big, yeah.
Because family is everything to us. That's why, I mean, we've been a 24/7 couple since the day we married 22 years ago. We've always tried to build stuff where we can always be together. So huge family. So let's look further down the road. Let's say 20 years, and let's say you are a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you've made it. What do you hope you never forget along that journey?
I hope I just never forget how hard I worked to get here, which I don't think I ever will. And I hope I never forget about the reasoning I'm doing it, which I don't think I ever will, because it's like a massive like thing that's attached to my father now. So yeah, like, I just hope I never are like to help people out, because like I know like how hard it actually is to make a career. It's like a catch-22 everywhere in this industry you go. Like you can't like be in a big production unless like you've been in a big production. You can't like you can't like get a good agent unless you've been in big productions. But in order to get in big productions, you have to have a good agent. Like it's all that just to like help out, to show people the ropes, to kind of like have them understand that like, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And like you have to like, yeah, I read that too. Thanks, Joe. And I hope I can. That's like the biggest thing in my career is hopefully I can like, yeah, make the people in my life that I care about like super proud. And I hope that I can like these interviews too that I'm doing like early on. I hope in 20 years somebody can listen to it and they can hear about how hard I'm working and like be like, all right, this guy didn't just have it handed to him. He had to like work his ass off for this.
Yep.
And he had a lot of bad stuff thrown at him, but he still got up every day, like tried to put a happy face on and like a hard working face and like go for it. Because I'm a true believer, like if you really do want it that bad and you put your best foot forward, it's gonna happen. Like nobody can deny you. Like one of those things, if you want it that bad, nobody can deny you.
Exactly.
Like you'll make a way for yourself. You'll kick that door open. If they try to slam it on you, you'll break a window. Yeah. And you'll get in no matter what.
No matter how long it takes, right?
Yeah, hopefully I can just like give people a little bit of faith.
I love that
Like
answer.
even a little bit of faith can go a long way. So if I can give them that little bit of faith.
I've got two more questions, and they're both kind of on advice. The first one is, what advice was given to you that you wish you listened to?
That I wish I listened to.
Yeah, in the past.
Oh yeah. Originally it was that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like I'm a guy that loves to see results, and so like if I'm going 2 years and I don't have any results happening, like I'm doing some auditions, I'm not getting callbacks, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. Know that it's going to take some time. Know that it's not going to be an overnight success. It's not going to happen at the snap of your fingers. It's going to take some time, and you will be discouraged, and you will have a million other thoughts like, I could be doing anything else right now. Like the family thing is like such a massive thing to me, because like I do want that, but I can't have a family if I'm like a struggling actor who's not making any money. I can't have any kids. I can't have like a white picket fence and like a Victorian style house with a golden retriever. I can't have that. I need to like, yeah, I need like, you have to put your best foot forward. Like, and just like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, don't expect it to happen right away. It's a journey. And that's it. It's enjoy the journey. That's the biggest thing of advice I could say is just enjoy it. Or that I don't listen to, just enjoy it. Like everyone's always telling me like these bad moments right now, like one day you're going to look back on them and you're going to be like so happy that you went through it. And even right now, I'm just like, this kind of sounds like a little bit of baloney to me. But yeah, like I do start to like realize like, yeah, they're right about that. Like I know all this hard work is going to like feel good because I actually did do it. And there's going to be like a sense of like reassurance that like, yeah, I really put my best. Like, yeah, exactly. I tried as hard as I could. So yeah, that's like a little bit of advice is just to enjoy the journey.
Love that advice. So as we close out, tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me, first and foremost, you can find me on Instagram at Andrew P. Logan. It'd be really cool because like I know I need to post more on there too, but I do want to start like sharing my journey just a little bit more, and like I said, it's really cool when people like start to like get behind me a little bit, and like it's like reassuring too. Like it's like a whole bit of push that I had. If you don't have Instagram, just if you have Netflix, go watch the show American Primeval. It's gonna be out probably forever. So if you go watch it, it'd just be awesome. It's really cool to like knowing people are like finally watching what I've been working so hard for. So yeah, either on Instagram, my Facebook's private. I don't have a Twitter. So yeah, like if you want to find me, I'm on IMDb too. Just Andrew P. Logan. And if you ever, I'm at the point still, if you want to like reach out to me and like talk about this stuff too, if someone needs a little bit of like encouragement or push, I'm not ever going to shy away from that. So yeah, reach out to me, come talk to me.
Love that. Love your story. Love everything about you. You were very open with this, and you don't always get guests like you that, because a lot of times you get guests sometimes where they hold back a little bit, and I try to nudge to get a little bit out of it. You didn't, and I appreciate that. And you're always welcome to come back anytime.
Oh yeah, whenever you guys want me. It's awesome just talking to you. Yeah.
You have a great day.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Okay, the recording is off.